Hi, my name's Connor and welcome back to Elevated Entertainment. Today we are going to be doing a spoiler-free review of Dark Phoenix. It's really hard for me to talk about this movie without getting into spoilers because the things that worked and didn't work for me in this movie largely had to do with how it connected to the wider X-Men franchise and how it could have been done differently, which we're going to have another video on. But I want to talk about today, to stay away from spoilers, just how this movie worked as a standalone, just on its own. Of course, if you've seen any of the other X-Men films, you know they have a phenomenal cast, and this is the first one to not feature Hugh Jackman's Wolverine at all. Even the other movies had like a brief cameo from him, and it works because this cast is so good. My only concern going into it was that Sophie Turner's turn as Jean Grey in X-Men Apocalypse was atrocious. I mean, she's so bad in that movie, and so I thought, man, Dark Phoenix with Sophie Turner as Jean Grey probably not going to work because she's the central character of that story. And she actually does a really good job. She definitely steps up her game in this movie. I gotta be honest, I'm starting to believe some of the conspiracy theories about Disney paying off critics, because I remember when The Last Jedi got all these crazy good reviews and then the fans hated it. And now you have this final X-Men movie from Fox and the critics are just bashing it. It is the worst reviewed X-Men movie, and I just have to tell you right now, this is not the worst X-Men movie, not by a long shot, and most of the average movie-going audience seems to be in agreement with me. Is it the best X-Men movie? No. Is it the worst? Definitely not. Are we forgetting X-Men Origins Wolverine? The main thing I see that shocks me is people saying that they thought X-Men Last Stand was a better iteration of the Dark Phoenix saga than this. Are you kidding me? Have you seen Last Stand anytime recently? Look, Dark Phoenix gets a lot of things right. The first half of this movie, really the first two acts, tonally, are very dark, as the story is very heavy, and they deal with the subject matter in a great way. It's more of a character study, really, of not just Jean, but a lot of these different characters, and so it feels a lot less crowded like X-Men Apocalypse was. It was just so crowded, so special effects, so hard to keep up with what was going on, where this movie's a lot more grounded and a lot more focused, and I appreciated that about it. Without going into spoilers, the only thing I didn't like was the finale and what they end up choosing to do with Jean's character. But we can talk about that more in future videos. Overall, I thought that Dark Phoenix was better than Last Stand, better than Origins, and better than Apocalypse, which shouldn't surprise anybody, but don't believe the critics or even some of the fans that are online saying it's the worst, because it's not by a long shot. All three of these movies that I just mentioned are definitely worse than Dark Phoenix. Dark Phoenix has a lot of good to offer. It is frustrating where it falls short. However, I don't know what you expected. See, they're marketing it as the final X-Men film because we know that Disney has the rights now and they'll be rebooting it. Different cast, different continuity, completely from scratch. And we can only hope that it will be amazing, as everything else that the Marvel Cinematic Universe has put out is. However, this movie was put into production before the Disney-Fox merger was even a conversation. So it's not like they knew this was going to be the last one. So without spoiling, it does leave it kind of open-ended. So it doesn't really feel like a conclusion movie. And so the fact that they marketed it like that, I really think was just to get more people out to the theater. It's not that. But that doesn't make it an awful movie either. I think for hardcore X-Men fans, you're going to want to see Logan as the conclusion to this iteration of the X-Men because it's a much more fitting conclusion. But this one's definitely still worth a watch. I'd give it a 7 out of 10. As always, thank you for watching. I'd love to hear your opinion in the comments down below. And definitely subscribe and turn on the notifications, as we will have more X-Men content coming up in the coming weeks. I'm going to rank the entire franchise, as well as explain how the timeline easily could have been fixed and some of the original plans for this prequel trilogy and where that kind of went off the rails. So those videos will all be coming soon.